Well, hello and welcome to IRL F2 round 11. We are at China. I'm Sondre Sorhaug. I'm joined today by Felix and Negwer, our F1 championship leader. Not anymore.
Hello and welcome everyone from my side as well.
So, Felix, I did a little slip up there. You're not the championship leader now. You was at some point though. Do you know what it means what you need to do to lead a championship?
I just need to pick up the pace a little bit, to be honest. Jack seems to be just too quick and too consistent to beat him. Although I showed some good pace in France, for example, where we were kind of equally matched, but at most tracks I don't have any chances against him. So yeah, probably focusing more on defending P2 or P3 in the championship this season.
I do know what you mean. I'm still lacking a little pace too, especially getting quality together. But we are not in F1 today. We are in F2, and you know what we usually do at the beginning of the quali? We're starting out by guessing who's gonna make the two front rows. So, do you want me to start it, or do you want to start yourself?
You could go ahead.
Alright, so first of all, it obviously depends on who's going on what tire. I do see a few people on the ultras. I really hope they will switch, but I'm gonna go Paco, Jared, Marcel, and Joe for the two front rows.
All right. I agree with Marcel and Paco definitely. I think they will be pretty much equally matched. But I think Jared will take pole. But then it's going to be difficult. I'd say it's probably Paco, so the two Renaults rounding up the front row again. And then, yeah, maybe King Julian
That would be Marcel.
Yeah, Marcel, and maybe then I'd say Storm.
Interesting. Well, definitely some good guesses there. I do know that I forgot about what I was going to say, but as you know, my memory is not exactly the best memory. I just realized that we have actually made a mistake, because I do believe that Nino also will end up in the top 4. We can't change it though. We've said what we've said, and that's what we're going for there. But I do believe that both of us has missed Nino completely in that guess.
Nino right now 2/10 behind Marcel. Right now, those times on mediums could actually give us a bit of a hint how the grid will look like, because I guess most of the guys who are running on the mediums will probably go with hot lap mode and maximum fuel mixture, because they probably will qualify on softs. The guys who are on ultras right now probably will not use too much ERS or back off towards the end of the lap to not set their fastest lap on the ultra soft, because that's exactly the tire you want to get rid of in the race. You don't want to even touch.
Yeah, basically at least. And I just brought under attention that Tim Brustellins got disqualified from quali.
Oh, actually, wait, let me just...
Yeah, I did not notice that. He's down in 14cc on the soft tires.
Oh, probably spun and then tried to come back onto the track because he was disqualified for moving towards the wrong direction. So I guess it could be something like that.
That is a big
You
shame.
have to excuse me for a minute. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, Tim, I don't know what to tell you. We don't restart sessions for that things. Although I do realize that you will be starting right at the back end. It's a horrible situation for you, but you gotta make the best of it. My advice to you is start on the mediums. On the other hand, Marcel has started his quali good. He's in provisional pole on the mediums with 11:30 left to go. And where was I? Spaced out a little there. Sorry about that. Two Renault drivers, 4th and 6th at the moment. It looks though like everyone is going to be on the same strategy. They're all starting on, well, not starting, but they're all out on medium tires at the moment. Nino does get provisional pole right now with a 32.5. 4 tenths quicker than Marcel, and not a bad time at all. We can see that Marcel is in the pit and is switching over to soft tires. I would say a little too early to go out on that, so if he's thinking about that, hello to you, Aaron. Nice to see that you're checking in on the stream. And once again, I'm gonna say sorry that I'm spacing a little out. So, at the moment, Tim is in a bad situation, all the way down in 14th.
All right.
After being disqualified, there won't be a restart for that. I mean, it's unlucky, but it happens to everyone. Wouldn't you agree, Felix?
What exactly happened? Do you have some
the
kind
thing
of
said,
explanation?
Ban
Or... Ah, all right.
got disqualified, and
yeah, those things happen.
Those things happen to everyone, and
yeah,
I rarely see any leagues restarting a session because of that.
Yeah, we had all kinds of problems in league racing this season, last season in F1. Can remember Mexico, where Joshua Dangle lagged out on his flying lap, where the lap time glitched and he was 20 seconds quicker than everyone, and he was in P5 or P4 before he set his lap, but through the glitch lap time he had to start from last place. So those things happen, but he has enough time to turn things around in the race though.
Definitely, you gotta remember it's a 50% race. I think it is 32 laps, something around there, or maybe 28.
Yeah.
28, I think.
I think 28.
He's just got to. He will have to start on mediums. That's the best way to do it. Start on the mediums, take it far, stay out of trouble, and try to go for a quick stint in the end. That's what I would have done at least.
Yeah, I think that would be the best strategy, as we now see that Jared goes out on his out lap, will be starting another flying lap on another set of mediums. So I think that should be the same set. I don't think you have two sets. Yeah.
It's the same set of mediums.
He will probably set his lap to be ready for his last shot on the soft compound. Just him going into turn 1, slightly missing the apex, staying in 3rd gear and down into 2nd. Where you have to get that good exit to not lose time towards that very sharp right-hander right here. Hits the apex quite nicely. Now that long swooping left-hander, which immediately turns into a right-hander, and then you have to brake. The braking point here for the left-hander then is pretty tricky, because you have to get that steering wheel straight, then brake and then turn in, otherwise you'll just lock up. And let's see what Jared can do. Oh, and you can see Paco Suarez went out on a set of ultra softs.
He's totally sandbagging. Trust me.
Yeah, but he doesn't do the same tactic as Jared does. Jared tries to get himself ready with the same set of mediums, with a slow compound of tires, than the softs. He goes actually 4th fastest, half a tenth quicker than his teammate Paco Suarez. And yeah, Paco prepares himself for the last run with better tires than on his actual run. That is a tactic we don't see all too often, to be honest. You can see if Forsythia does that as well.
And as it's just under 5 minutes now, I guess we will start seeing people going out on soft tires, especially considering everyone's been on medium.
Oh, and Paco Suarez on his preparation lap where he prepares for his last run, he runs up wide into turn 1, and that isn't a good thing to do on your final lap before you actually set your rear lap on the tires you will start on, because you really want to nail that lap before to get into the rhythm, to then set a good lap as well on your actual tire, and you don't want to do too many mistakes then. And Paco Suarez, that run doesn't seem to be all so clean for him.
Well, I don't think this is a serious try by Paco. I think we will see him going in for soft tires, so...
Yeah, that's what I mean, but these laps on tires you won't start on anyway are just to, be ready for your actual last run, get into the rhythm.
Basically. Sort out lines and gears. Like if you're...
The question is, will he go straight on? Yes, he will, otherwise.
To take in turn 1, at what stage there, you can use these laps to alright, sort out, I'm gonna stay in 4th, I'm gonna go down and gear more, things like that. And that's probably what he's done. But we do see that Nino is on his out lap on soft tires.
And we see meanwhile Luke in P11 trying to set his lap on the softs.
Well, it's better to get 11th and actually done the lap on soft than getting 5th and being an ultras.
That is true, and I don't know if you showed that, but he completely misjudged his braking point, braked way too early, and then just cut the inside line, cuts the inside of the chicane, and I don't think that lap will be valid.
Well, I'm telling you, we are following Nino Romanello now in the Williams, going into the first corner. Takes a little bit wide, but he does complete his line well there. Into the second corner. It's really important to get the traction around there, right? I know that I usually get a
Seems
slide,
like a good exit.
but yeah, it seemed like a good exit. This corner is
24.4 in the first sector. That's 24.3, sorry. That is an improvement by 1.5 tenths over his last lap, which obviously was on medium, so it should be quicker. But the question is, how much quicker will that lap be?
Yeah, that is a good point. Good point. But you know, it's the second sector where you really can use the soft tires better than the mediums. He does seem to run a little bit wide in this corner onto the long straight.
But an interesting side fact: Convicts in P3 will be starting on mediums. He's out on a quick lap on mediums again.
Interesting. As we see that Joe has retired after doing provisional pole on the soft tires. We do now have
5 tenths
Nino
quicker.
Romanello in the last corner. Will it be good enough? It is,
will.
and it is at 31.7. That's a good lap by Nino.
3 tenths quicker.
On the other hand, Marcel is in the second corner now, so he is out on his flying lap.
Storm went P3.
In third. The Renault drivers, though, might seem like they're struggling a bit. It's hard to say.
Convicts comes around the last corner. Track extends a little bit. Shouldn't be a problem. He can't improve. He stays P5.
Oh, and Marcel does a crucial mistake and will not be able to improve that lap time then, I believe. I didn't see exactly what it looked like. He clipped the grass a little and there he goes into the wall.
On purpose. But we still have Jared and Paco. I think Paco just started his lap. Yeah, Paco only just made it. Was very close for him. But he came over the line early enough to set his final lap on the softs. So did Jared, but Jared has a lot more, has started his lap a lot earlier than his teammate did. Convicts is still out on mediums.
Yeah, you know, Chris might get another lap in. He should try to improve then. He really don't want to be starting on the ultras. He will then have to pit after, I would guess, like lap 3 or 4. They are not good for much longer than that. Especially not here where it's been a lot of close racing. As we see Jared on the long straight, what do you think? Where do you think we'll see Jared?
I think he will improve. I don't know by how much. I guess a few tenths. It should be a few tenths. But
you know, I
doubt that it's gonna be pole.
4 for Jared. That's my prediction there. A third, I mean.
And it's P4.
And it is
Marcel.
P4. And what about his teammate? And that's Paco
Suarez comes around the last corner. That lap seems to be a bit better.
Second.
And he's P2.
So we do have Nino Romanello in pole position. I think it is his first pole of the season.
But now we have a similar situation for Convicts as we had me in Hungary starting on the ultra softs. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he improved this time.
And
that's really
top
gonna hurt
10
him.
then. Nino Romanello in first. Paco Suarez second. Joe Hollis third. Adrian Storm fourth. Jared Fosbury fifth. Marcel sixth. First driver on mediums. Chris Ryan seventh. Only driver on ultras. Billy Mossam 8th, Charlie Sampson 9th, and James Sands in 10th. Then outside of the top 10 we have Callum Anderson, Luke Baker, Christos Kalamides, and Team Bruce Dillins in 14th. And with this, I did say it after we guessed our top 4 for quali that we did really miss out on Nino there, but we missed out that much too. He took pole.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming.
really set a very good lap.
Oh yeah.
But a driver we should have an eye on the first few laps should be Convicts, who will be starting on ultras.
Well, you
He
do,
will
you
be
know.
very quick for the first 2 laps, but then his tires will probably go down very quickly, and he will lose a lot of pace. But
Yeah,
a
but
one stop is still possible if you
oh,
can stretch out those ultras.
you know, I've done that before. The one stop from ultras to mediums, and I'm telling you, it was horrible. The mediums,
Yeah,
like
it
you're gonna have
really
to
will
stretch
hurt
them so
his
long
pace.
that it's not really good at all. But you can. But the driver I think we really need to watch out for is Marcel, because he's starting in 6th, and that's not a bad position when you're starting on mediums. As long as he can get his tires up to temperature on the formation lap and can just keep up the first few laps, I guess around lap 5, the difference between the soft and mediums should not be big anymore then.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with that.
as we are on the
I
formation
think
lap,
that could be very interesting.
you know, we got to guess top 3. And you want me to start, or do you want to start this time?
Uh, I could start this time. I think that Nino will take the win ahead of Paco Suarez and then Storm.
All right, all right. You know, I'm gonna show a little balls there, so I'm saying Nino, Marcel, and Paco. I think that if Marcel makes those mediums really work for it, with the quicker tire, in the end, I think he can do a brilliant race.
Yeah, that really is a good point, but we don't know how the weather forecast looks, so how that could affect the
Ah,
race as well.
you do have a point there. Yeah, you do have a point there. You see Nino really doing a Raikkonen down the straight.
Huh.
And
Yeah, just going straight on.
Jared and Marcel getting disqualified from the formation
Oh, that's
lap.
very bad for Marcel, especially because he starts on mediums. He has to warm up those tires very heavily, and now he will be starting on very cold mediums, and that could really hurt his chances at the start.
Yeah.
By the way, make sure to check out our Twitter account, Twitter at F1 underscore IRL.
That is correct. You do check it out. We're always posting the live streams there, and we do
You
post
can
a few polls nowadays too, with us being halfway into the season. And we should be getting underway then. And I'm instantly getting a good view, as there is 5 red lights, and
It's
away
lights
we
out, and away we
go.
go. It's a good start from
And
P3 from
it's
the
a
McLaren.
really good start for the McLaren as they go into turn 2. Can the McLaren of Joe Hollis get past
Side by
Paco?
side. No,
But
he's under
look at the
pressure by the
Storm though, he's
Mercedes.
in the inside.
Oh, Storm goes past both of them. Oh, a bit of contact between him and Suarez. And he goes past.
Look
What
at
a
this.
start by Storm.
And Joe a
Oh,
little
and
out
that's...
on the grass. I saw that happening, and oh, that is a shame for Joe. I said Storm, but I mean Joe.
Oh, Convicts outbreaks himself. And there's front wing damage. And the other McLaren is round as
Oh,
well.
and look at this in the back, in the midfield behind there. It's cars everywhere.
It's
And
a
at the
very
moment,
chaotic start to that Chinese F2 race here in
Nino,
IRL.
it might be on the way to his first IRL F2 win of the season, as he's gotten a great start and has a 1.4 gap down to Adrian Storm, who's also on his search for the first win.
I just saw the Ferrari of Convicts on the Ultrasoft tire outbraking himself and going into and hitting the rear of the McLaren, who then spins around, but is able to kind of save the car to not spin around completely. But he has lost a few positions. He's down into P7 now. As we now can see, Paco Suarez goes down the side of Storm. Can he make the move sick? They're still side by
Well,
side.
he will have the outside for the next corner, but he does get past.
He cuts in, and a good move.
Storm is in the middle of that Renault sandwich you really don't want to be in.
We can see the McLaren. Yeah, the McLaren has to pit. He's got front wing damage, it seems like.
Well, that was actually the other McLaren, not Joe, but that was Charlie Sampson. So both the McLarens having an abysmal start to this race. Tim Bristol is, however, he started 14th, is up to 8th, so he's been able to avoid the carnage and gotten himself in a better position. He's not out of it. I guess he should be on medium tires. He is. Now he's on soft, so he's starting on the soft.
Oh, and look at Luke. He is up into P6 after starting P12.
Yeah. Him and Tim both has made the best starts with 6 positions gained. James has also gained 5.
That's a very, but can we just hold on to that great start Storm did? He waited patiently into turn 1 and then saw his chance as the McLaren and the Renault were side by side.
Talking about Storm, he's right at on the back of Jared Fosbury, our championship leader, and
and someone spun in the background.
That would
spun. That's Tim.
Tim. Oh no! It might look like
I think he just lost it on the curb. I didn't see any contact whatsoever.
If there is any.
Meanwhile, Marcel goes past
he has
Luke.
Front wing damage now too. That's not the way he wanted his race to go. But look
he
at
had
this
a very good start. We
gap.
only just talked about him.
Nino's gap up to 2.2 seconds.
But then we have 3 cars within. Yeah, no, actually we have 4 cars in a row who have a gap under 1 second. It has now gone to 1.1 second between James and Storm.
But look at this though, both the Renaults and Storm. This is a familiar sight. We've seen this over and over, and Storm has really struggled getting the upper hand on them.
But keep in mind, Marcel is on mediums and is only 1.4 seconds, actually now 1.3 seconds behind the hands of James. So if he, as you said before the race, if he can keep up with such a low gap between him and the cars in front, he will be a contender for the pole, for a podium.
Definitely, and like I think it is lap 6 around there where the mediums doesn't have that big of an advantage against the soft anymore, because the soft has started to wear then, and Marcel is in a good position considering that. Luke's same with Luke. He's only 1.5 seconds behind Marcel on his mediums. So
meanwhile, Convicts on the Ultrasoft. The Ultrasoft starts to go down already, and the Toro Rosso gets past around the outside on the mediums. So I think that will be a very, very difficult race for the Ferrari driver who crashed with the McLaren.
Up Nino now, and the gap
on lap 1
down to 1.5.
And he pits on lap 3, sorry. So the race for the Ferrari is pretty much over.
You know, I did say it. Round 3 or 4 laps on the Ultras, and they really aren't worth anything anymore.
Yeah, that puts the Force India into P10. Oh, but he has front wing damage, and that would actually move if he has to pit. Yes, front wing seems to be heavily damaged, and if he has to pit, that actually would move Convicts back into the top 10, who is now on softs.
Interesting. So at the moment, though, we can see that except for this battle for second, there is small gaps between everyone, but Nino has actually pulled that gap up to 2.2 seconds again. So
I think he will be just conserving tires right now.
Nino is really making.
Oh, and look at Jared. Jared is in the slipstream now of his teammate. Can he go down the inside into the hairpin? He goes down the inside.
Yeah, but look at this.
Waits, tries to switch back. Oh, and he loses his back end. And Storm gets past as well.
Back, losing the back end.
I'm pretty sure that looked like he was in neutral gear. It
Yeah,
almost
kinda
looks like
did.
that because he didn't accelerate. He didn't accelerate, probably was in neutral, then shifted up into first
And
as
you know
he
what this has
realized
done?
that, and
This has
then
just
lost the back end.
handed Nino a bigger lead. And this will mean that if Paco was the one who's fastest among these three behind Nino, he now has to battle his way around Storm and Jared again.
Yeah,
And
and
that's not
can we
gonna be
just
easy.
and just pay attention to Marcel as well,
Oh yeah.
because he is only 4 tenths behind James right now, and he is definitely taking advantage of that battle between Paco and Storm and Jared,
Oh yes.
who
And look at this
obviously are
though,
losing
Paco.
time on their fastest stint. Jared pulled out a gap of 1 second. Now it's down to 7 tenths again. Made a
Yeah,
mistake.
and look at this. Paco is right behind Storm. This, we can. Can we get it three cars wide on the long straight?
That
On
is the
lap 5.
question. Meanwhile, Marcel will probably get past James. Doesn't seem like anyone is close enough yet to make a move. A dive bomb could
Marcel
be
is.
upon a Storm. Does he go for a
Storm
move?
defense,
No, he
and Marcel
pretends.
is past James into turn 1, and these medium tires should be working a lot better for
Into
him
the
now.
hairpin. Into the hairpin, not into turn 1.
Into the hairpin, yeah, that's right. My bad there.
Oh, and look at Storm. Storm is very close to Jared. Jared seems to
Yeah.
have a pretty weak exit out of the last corner, but Storm stays back. Very smart of him, because into turn 1, if you are not really next to him as you brake into the corner, you'll just outbrake yourself and probably crash out both. But
Yeah,
maybe now into that
I got
sharp
to mention it
right-hander.
again, but Nino is just pulling away. Where has he found this pace, or has he had it all the time, just not showing it? I don't know, but he definitely
It seems like it's the
looking
track
strong now.
it seems like China really suits him,
Yeah,
but
and
he
of
obviously
course, these
needs
three
to
drivers
pull out.
behind him, with this battling, their tires are going to be hurt more, and you see that Jared is running really wide in that corner, gets a good exit by it, but Paco is
And
struggling.
you have to remember, Nino has to pull away. He has to make this stint work for him to get a big enough gap to Marcel, because you can see Marcel is only 8 tenths behind Paco Suarez right now on the slow compound of tires. So Marcel really is a contender for a podium. And if Nino doesn't use his fresh tires,
but look at
his
this.
quick tires.
Storm is getting past Jared into the hairpin, not turn 1.
Jared tried to stay on the outside, maybe does the switchback now. His exit isn't good enough, he stays behind. But what I wanted to say, Nino has a lot of clean air ahead of him. He has to make that.
Oh, Paco has front wing damage. And look at this though, Storm trying to go around Jared into turn 1. I did get it right this time.
I think that was the lap before by Paco. That's why he lost so much time to Marcel as well. I think he slightly outbraked himself, and I think he slightly hit the rear of the Mercedes of Storm on lap
maybe
5, I think. But
well, this just makes it better for Marcel though, because
Marcel
now
is just
this means that Paco can take
gaining
those mediums to the end, most likely. I know you can take them for about 22 laps around there, but he will be on horrible tires.
And Marcel goes off track slightly.
In the meanwhile, look at Storm though. With no Paco behind him, trying to get past him, he will be all over Fosbury.
Yeah, it seems like he has a lot more pace and could pull away in clean air, but he isn't able
Storm has
to
really
stay
struggled
ahead.
with that in other races. He seemed like the quicker driver, but not really been able to get past and pull away. And you see that Fosbury is trying to squeeze him tight. He will be going for the switchback.
And this time it could work.
Oh, this will be close. Storm is ahead.
Not quite. But now remember, there is another DRS zone on this main straight,
yes,
and Jared has got the
that's really
DRS.
a
It's
big
only 2
problem
tenths
there.
behind him, and he could go for a move into turn 1 again. Yes, he
and
goes side by
for
side.
the inside. They're side by side into turn 1. Storm tries to hang it out this outside. He can't really do it.
Slight contact.
It is
And
Fosbury
Marcel
in second again.
is just waiting.
Oh yeah, look at this.
And he gained so much time, only 7 tenths between him and Storm now.
These two drivers are really not benefiting from this because Marcel, it's just a matter of corners before he's really in this battle, and Nino is just pulling away. Paco will probably undercut them, although he's gonna be struggling at the end.
And I can tell you, if I'll tell you something. I think if Marcel is under 10 seconds behind Nino, as Nino goes into the pits, he will be fighting for the victory.
Oh, he will
because
be fighting,
with
but
his pace.
It also depends on how many drivers he has in front of him, because even though he's going to be on the quicker tires, he will have to overtake.
That's
and that
true,
can hurt your tires too. But right now we do have Storm right behind Fosbury, and he's going past. I'm getting a horrible view.
Oh, Jared stays on the inside though, and he is able to defend. A good move by Jared. Pushes the McLaren, the Mercedes a bit wide.
And you see, this has been Storm's problem for this whole season when he's battled against these Renaults. He's been able to make moves, but he hasn't been able to like really make them stick. And yeah, but 9 laps in the race now, we will see all of the soft runners starting to think about their pit stops.
Yeah, and you can see that in the midfield as well. The Toro Rosso and the Ferrari are catching up on the McLaren, who's still on softs. The Toro Rosso and Ferrari are both on mediums, and they are very much gaining on the McLaren ahead of them.
This Paco is setting fastest lap now on the mediums with a 35.2. But the gap though, he would be... I don't know if he will actually be able to get out ahead of Nino. But look at this though, Marcel is he's properly in the battle now.
And Tim has crashed out of the last corner. I only just saw it, and he's retired from the session.
Oh, that is...
It just got past the Force India, who's an AI car, I think, and then he lost the back end out of the last corner and just threw it into the wall like Giovinazzi did in 2017. And look at Marcel. Marcel is so close to Jared. He tries to go around the outside, but now there's Storm right ahead of him. Jared blocks very smartly, goes down the inside of Storm as well.
Oh, but look at this. Storm and Jared is focusing on each other, and Marcel
Storm loses out 2 places. And he goes straight on. He goes into the pits.
His tires is finished.
And now look at Marcel. If he can now get past Jared, that will be so crucial for his race.
Oh, a little wheel banging in turn 1. Be careful with your front wing now, Marcel. You are on the mediums. You will have to take them for at least 8 more laps. Well, not at least.
But it would be so important for him. It would be crucial to get past, to get the clean air, to keep the gap between him and Nino on a minimum.
Is pitting on this or the next lap most likely.
And you can see only 5.4 seconds between Nino and Marcel. And that's going to be very interesting towards the end of the race.
Oh yeah, but it also depends on Jared.
Marcel really has a chance for the victory.
If Jared is sticking out for a few more laps, that might be in Nino's advantage. If he pits on this lap, Marcel will have a lot of clean air from just a few corners. And Marcel right behind Jared. It looks like Jared is starting to struggle a lot with his grips, taking the corner
and he will
onto the long
probably
straight really wide.
Lose his spot to Storm as he's going to pit. And Storm actually kept his position ahead of Paco, but only by 1.6 seconds, even though Paco had to change front wing.
With his cold mediums, that'll probably mean that Paco will catch up that half a second and be inside the area.
Jared goes straight on as we thought. Nino stays out though. Nino seems to be very happy with his tires, although he lost 7 tenths on only the last lap, even though Marcel had a lot of dirty air ahead of him.
Yeah, but you
And
know,
now
he
it's
can
going
he
to
can
be
afford
interesting
this
to see.
extra lap. He can afford that, and this might
But
just
I'm
mean
not
that
sure. I'm not sure about that actually, because he is going to lose a lot of time on his second stint, and he already lost a few tenths again on this
where
lap.
is
And
Jared
we
coming
kind
out?
of
Will he
have an
be
indicator
ahead?
now
Jared is
on
ahead of
how
Storm,
much
so
quicker
that means
Marcel will
that
be.
Nino will most likely still be in first. Well, not first, but he will be ahead of the Renaults and the Mercedes. Although Marcel is on these medium tires. Now the question is, how far is he gonna stretch it, and will he manage to get on top of these drivers after he pits? You see that Nino is pulling out a good lap here. He's not losing time to Marcel now.
Yeah,
Not
the
much, at
thing
least.
now, traffic gets involved as well.
Yeah, you know, Jared has clean air, but he's gonna be battling with Storm once again. As we see, Nino, will he be pitting this lap? He is pitting this lap. As we see that Marcel comes into the last corner. And now Marcel is probably gonna be running for 4 to 6 more laps before he's going over to the soft tires for his last stint. But right now the interesting thing we'll see... Oh, and Jared and Storm are battling it all out. And where will Nino come out? Nino is
Storm
coming
has pit
out
again.
in second.
Storm has pit again.
Oh, he's got some wing damage.
Storm
And
has probably got some wing damage.
look at this.
He's
Nino
going
comes
on
out
mediums.
in second.
And they're not changing his front wing. They're not changing his front wing. He probably forgot
Sure?
to set it on change.
Oh,
and
no, and
that's
that
his
leaves...
chances for
sure?
a race
His
win
front
or a
wing
podium
seems fine.
done.
Well, let's have a look at his... it doesn't look like he has any front wing damage.
But why did he pit then?
Are you sure they didn't change it? Because it looks like it's all fine.
Yeah, I'm very sure he left immediately as he stopped. It only has to be a minor front wing damage, and it has such a huge effect on their lap times.
Well, on the other hand though, Nino is in the perfect position now because he's 17 seconds behind Marcel. He doesn't have anyone close to him. Well, Takis is 1.5 seconds behind, but Nino will be pulling away from him. And the Renaults are not there.
Yeah, and he will gain.
himself.
He definitely gain time in the next few laps as Marcel is on worn mediums and Nino is on fresh mediums.
Oh yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
And right now the only battle we have is Luke and Christos. They're both on old mediums now. Luke is right behind Christos. He does get a bad exit from turn 2 and loses a little time. But the Renaults though, they lost a lot of time to Nino during those pit stops, Felix. Jared is now...
he definitely lost too much time.
6 seconds behind Nino, over 6 seconds behind Nino. So he lost a second on that, and that's probably because the last lap Nino did before he pitted was actually a pretty good one. Jared was on cold tires, I guess. Right now you can see that Nino is catching up massively to Marcel.
Oh, and Paco seems to be struggling. He's went off track quite heavily right there. Storm, meanwhile, as we can see, is in P10 at the moment, but he's right behind Convicts, who's on 9-lap-old softs, who seems to be struggling. The Mercedes with the number 13 is trying to get past.
Oh, you know, I think I know why Storm pitted.
And he goes down the inside and has made the move stick.
I think Storm's DRS slot was stuck open, Felix.
Was it?
I think so, because when he was in the pit, he wrote in the live stream and he said DRS open. I guess he's trying to say that the DRS was stuck open. I don't see any other reason for him pitting.
But do they actually fix it when you go into the pits?
I think so, yeah. Not actually
Right,
sure.
so...
And right now, well, we do have a small battle down in 9th and 10th with Storm and Chris Ryan. Although it does not look like Chris is able to follow Storm right now. Chris is definitely on a 2-stop as he is on 10 lap old soft. We will be pitting in a few laps, I guess.
I'm just reading the comments. Aaron Collingwood said that, yeah, he just said the same as I did, that Paco got front wing damage from Storm. That's what I said on lap 5 when Paco pitted. He outbraked himself, hit Storm, and then his front wing was broken.
And look at this, Felix. We have had a little more boring laps now, but now we have Jared Fosbury right on the tail of Luke Baker on his old mediums. This should be an easy move for Jared.
And Aaron Collingwood, who is known as KLC in F1, as his gamer tag, asked if you could show the gap between to the leader.
I have already
to see. All right, great.
We can do it
because that's
there we have it.
really interesting to see.
Jared,
I don't know. I think the pit window
seconds.
is around 20 seconds, isn't it?
I think so. So Jared, no matter if he gets out ahead of Marcel or not, he's not going to be far ahead, and he will be struggling with Marcel on a charge on his quicker tires.
Meanwhile, Hammer Time said it's Mario Kart again.
Mario Kart. Well, that's a good game.
That's
and
a good comment as well.
We did not comment on it, but Jared has just gotten past Luke Baker, and it was, as I said, with his new fresh mediums against Baker's old mediums. She was an easy move. We now have Paco right behind Luke. And
meanwhile, Aaron Collingwood makes a point and says he thinks Marcel is going to come second.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that is sorted out already. It depends on where he comes out and how quickly he can get past the Toro Rosso if he comes out behind him. But I think if the gap is over 10 seconds, he definitely...
And we see that Paco is passing Luke with ease down the long straight. And yeah, you do have a point there. Marcel looks to be
the Toro Rosso comes in
on for first or second, but right now you said 10 seconds and the gap is now 10 seconds. Well, not, it is 12.5, but I guess the pit stop is around 21-22 seconds. Nino will probably catch a little more.
Depends where he comes out. It will be very close between Marcel and the two Renaults, but you have to remember he has to stay out 1 or 2 more laps to make those softs work at the end as well, because otherwise they are going to drop heavily in terms of pace on the last few laps.
Well, you gotta remember the car is lighter now. Nino took his soft for 12 laps, I think, and he managed to put in a good lap on his last lap on those. So I think
that's a good point.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Right now, I think he would rejoin in between the two Renaults, as the gap to Jared is 19.2 seconds and to Paco 20.8. It could be close between him and Paco, but it's going to be interesting to see when he actually comes into the pits. And it's now. He now pits, and it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. I make a guess and say he comes out right in front of Paco Suarez.
And Nino is passing the pit now. Marcel is...
Nino will be
Now
definitely leading.
changing
Jared
tires.
will get past as well.
And Paco.
Oh, and
Oh no, Paco
yes,
will
he
be
gets past
right
as well.
ahead, but
And
Paco
that
though, he is on
could be
all
crucial.
mediums.
So the gap between Marcel and the race leader is now 10.4 seconds, and he has to get past 2 other cars. I think that's his chances for a race win pretty much over if Nino doesn't make any mistakes anymore.
You know, this
And
could be good for Jared too, that Paco got ahead of Marcel. Paco might be trying to battle it out with Marcel, keeping him behind him. Although Paco's tires is already 10 laps old. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard race for Paco. But this is the battle to fall right now. It is here, it will happen. I do, or however, see that Storm is on the back of Taki of Christos too.
oh, and
This, though.
he touched the grass on the inside.
Oh, you know, I know what Paco did there. He wanted Marcel in front of him to have DRS. Paco has tried that on many drivers. He's tried it on me too. Not in a league race, but well, maybe he's actually done that.
He hasn't got DRS. Actually, Marcelo's got DRS.
Yeah, so he's made a small mistake then. And with Marcel's better traction now, he will be struggling to get that position back unless he can get a really good exit here.
But it doesn't look like he can.
You know, Marcel should really defend this inside line now because he doesn't even have to. That makes it harder for Jared then, because now I guess Marcel will be starting to pull away from Paco instantly. He will be getting on the back of Jared.
As a small update, the gap between the leader and Marcel has already come down to 9.9 seconds as it was 10.7 seconds as Marcel came out of the pits, even though he was in the dirty air all lap long. So the fight for the victory isn't quite over yet.
Oh, it's not over, but I will be having to give the advantage to Nino right now. He has looked strong for this whole race. He hasn't done any mistakes, has he?
But look at that. Marcel is already within that 1 second DRS window to Jared, and if he can get past on this lap already or on the main straight at the start of next lap, that could really open up his gates for a chase for the race win.
Definitely.
He won't get past on this straight.
Past on this straight. He might
but maybe on the start-finish straight.
Get past on the start-finish straight, considering his better grip with these soft tires.
He is 5 tenths behind him. I think you have to be a bit closer than that.
Yeah, unless he gets a really good exit from the last corner. But he's
it doesn't look
still
like
5 tenths behind, and he puts up the fastest lap of the race with a 34.7.
And he gained another 6 tenths on that lap. At the moment he gained 6 tenths on the race leader, and you gotta remember he has dirty air at the moment. Can he get past the Renault of Jared into the sharp right-hander right here? I don't exactly know which turn that is.
He's kind of looking like he doesn't want to do it there. He might be careful.
Could he go? Nah, I thought for a second he would go down the inside.
That would have been
that really costs time around here. Yeah, he was 9 seconds behind the race leader at the start of this lap. Now he's 10 seconds behind the leader again.
Yeah, and you know why he is that. You can see clearly that Jared is playing the Renault sandwich game. He's been slightly letting off the throttle a little to make Paco get back into the fight. It certainly does look like it.
And it does look like
Marcel. And Jared
side by side,
squeezing him tight there. But Marcel with his better traction should be able to get this. Although Paco is coming back.
Gets past as well.
And this is not good for Jared. Our championship leader is now down to 4th, losing 2 positions into one corner. And Marcel right
Can he
now.
get one back
Oh, and
into
look
turn
at
one?
these two Renaults
He
behind.
backs out.
Ah, I did not
Smart
get
decision.
that. And now we can see that Baker is pitting, so he went 19 laps on those mediums. He might be pitting over to Ultrasoft for the last 8 laps then. It is soft.
Yeah, and you now gotta see that gap melting between the race leader and P2, which
Well,
is
it hasn't
Marcel
started
at the
melting
moment.
yet, but
But it has to be melting if Marcel wants to have a realistic chance of a victory today. I don't know how it is in terms of penalties. There shouldn't be too many here in China. It's very difficult actually
well,
to get a warning.
not that I've paid attention to penalties, but I haven't seen many pop up. I've seen a couple. I think I saw Callum getting 1 or 2, and we can see here that Paco is doing the move I said on Jared. He's letting Jared have track to position to get the RS. But I think Jared is... Nah, it was Paco who got the RS.
No one has DRS, it seems like.
Oh. Then one of them might have a broken DRS front wing right now.
Rear wing.
Rear wing, yeah. My bad.
DRS front wing wouldn't be too good.
Well, imagine if you get that in F1 too. Maybe that'll help with overtaking. Although, look at this. Jared squeezing Paco almost into the wall there. They go side by side in turn 1.
Very close,
Still
a bit of
side
wheel
by side
banging,
in turn 2.
but hard but fair between the two teammates right here.
Oh yeah, you know that they've almost wrapped up the constructor already.
Oh, look
so
at
they
that.
Can take
that
chances.
is beautiful racing right now. Hard but fair. They two get along very well in real life, so they fight each other with a lot of respect.
Oh yes.
And that's what we want to see. Hard but fair racing, all clean with a lot of respect.
The podium is slipping for one of them. Because Marcel
That's
and
true.
Nino will definitely get podium, both of them. Who
Yeah, I'm
wins,
pretty
however,
sure that
is not yet decided, but it looks like Nino has this under control. He's not losing that much time to Marcel. Something I noticed about Marcel around here now is that he's taking a few dangerous lines. He's clipped the grass a little some places, and he's got to be careful with that, as we see that Paco is right ahead of Jared. Jared trying to get back at him. Last corner, a good exit for Fosbury is what he needs right now. Oh, and look at that, Paco is showing him to the outside lane. And they're side by side through turn 1 once again.
Can he hang it around the outside? No, we can. Tries to do a switchback, maybe concentrate on a good exit.
And he does that, and he does have a good exit, and he's gonna...
he's defending the inside line very aggressively.
Outside.
Slight contact as he wanted to do the switchback. And Paco holds it. Oh! And they're side by side through here. Oh my god, that could have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah,
but the good thing is they don't have much to lose. James is 11 seconds behind both of them, so they are free to fight. They don't have any chances to overtake Marcel, who seems to have given up because he's lost 3/10 on this lap to race leader Nino.
I think Marcel is still pushing it. I just think that Nino really is the strongest around this track. Marcel might have pushed with the RS and fueled the last few laps, so yeah, it's hard to say. One thing's for sure, Nino has just been dominant this race. As we see that Jared will once again go for the move into turn 1. He's trying around this outside, but switches to the inside. that will become the outside in turn 2, and he really seems to have a grip advantage right now. But Paco stays in front.
That's a great battle for a few laps long now.
Yes, Paco goes for the defensive line. But can he prevent Jared from doing the switchback? Jared doesn't really get past him. And yeah, we can just see that this has really been a battle between the Renaults today. Storm was there, but he lost out in the end. Joe was there in the first lap, but he lost out. But Nino and Marcel has really been strong today, and the Renaults hasn't really been able to answer.
Yeah, but they are answering in terms of
Each other.
yeah, they are
look at
very
this
quick.
side by side into the hairpin. It will be Jared going for the switchback. Can he make it stick this time? They're still side by side. Paco does manage to stay ahead.
This.
But
This is
look
great
at
racing.
This,
This battle really reminds me of F1 last season. The battle between Matthew Alder, Cameron, and me.
I remember that.
It was a ding-dong battle
there, actually.
last season, and this season it is as well. A bit of contact again. But this time Jared seems to have the upper hand on his teammate. Can he defend the inside line?
Not side by side.
Not enough.
Switchback. Oh, he tries to, but Paco doesn't go that wide. He tries to prevent the switchback.
Paco places his car very well, and that's how he defends for a few laps now, and that has worked very well indeed.
Oh yes, and the gap, however, between Marcel and Nino is staying at 9.1, 9.2
Oh,
seconds.
Jared goes very wide.
With 4 laps left, I think Nino, the only thing that can prevent Nino from getting his first IRL F2 victory is himself right now.
And what I just saw is that I just saw a message popping up giving a 3-second time penalty to Jared, who only just got it. So we know that Jared has got at least one penalty. I don't know.
Oh, and look at this.
What is with Paco, and that could make Jared a lot more aggressive, and Jared gets past.
Almost looked like a small desync between the two rounds there.
Yeah, the thing is, Jared really has to go for it now, because he has to get past that, put out that 3-second gap he needs to stay ahead of his teammate. He lets his teammate pass though. It seems like they kind of touched. Otherwise, Jared wouldn't have let him pass so easily. But Jared gets past again, but doesn't quite have the advantage over him, does he? Stays on the inside. Oh, this is such a great battle between the two Renaults we are witnessing right now.
Chris Ryan got past Callum Anderson, but outbraked himself into the hairpin. It's the battle for the last point awarded, the battle for 10th place. Got to try to have an eye on that too, as we see that Chris is not gonna do a move into turn 1.
But now we can see the two Renaults going on to the long straight again.
As we see that Nino is stretching his gap now, so I don't know, Marcel might just be conserving his tires to make sure that he won't have trouble with them on the last lap. And no move there, as we see that Jared is right behind Paco once again. Paco, those 19 laps old mediums, he's got to be starting to struggle with them now. Oh, and there is contact. Maybe the Renault are getting a little hostile against each other now. Still both on track at least. Make sure to get both your cars.
Can he go around the outside? Oh, and what a move by Jared. He goes round the outside. What a move. Almost like Sebastian Vettel did against Daniel Ricciardo in 2017.
Chris, Ryan and Callum going side by side into the last corner. Chris gets past on his... oh my god, Callum is on 21 laps old mediums, while Chris is on 10 laps old soft, so both should be struggling with their grip levels now.
And you can see Jared has formed a gap of 1.3 seconds now to his teammate, so he has to pull away now to get that 3-second gap. He probably needs.
And we have another battle here at the finishing phase. It's between Storm and Hollis. Hollis in the McLaren trying to stay ahead of Storm. Storm gets a good run onto the long straight. Should be an easy move. Hollis known for his fierce defensive movements, and he's already taken the defensive line. And they're going side by side. Hollis leaving him the space. And it looks like side by side through the last corner. Hollis has to go wide. Oh, they're gonna end up side by side into the first corner too. Hollis will be
That's gonna be scary for both of them. Hopefully they can get through without any contact.
They are both on 15 laps old mediums. A little...
Oh, they touch tires.
Oh, and Callum has retired. Maybe that was a punctured tire. I don't know, but Storm is right ahead of Hollis as they go into this sharp left-hander.
And he makes the move stick.
There. But look at this though. Can Joe get back at Storm here? It's the battle for 6th place.
Oh, and he touches the grass on the outside.
For sure both of these drivers would have expected to be battling for higher position. Right now they're battling for 6th place. I don't think any of them will be happy with this result, but right now they're both trying to get as much points as they can.
Meanwhile, Jared is pulling out a 2-second gap.
And look at this, Joe is 4 tenths behind Storm. Can he get the move into the first corner? I think he's too far behind. He's going to be going for a dive, but he breaks down just enough, and Storm tries to make a switch back while Joe is still there. Oh, and Storm is right behind Joe. We see a move into turn 1.
No, I think he's too far away.
Jay saying in the chat that we should definitely skip this track tomorrow.
Just read that as well.
I can't agree on that. I really like this track.
Yeah, same.
But Storm doesn't really look to be having an answer right now. Joe is slightly pulling away.
By the way, I'm always having one eye on the gap between the two Renaults, and Jared has pulled out a 2.7-second gap to his teammate. So yeah, now only 2 more tenths, and it seems like he will be able to hold that. Yeah, it's now over 3 seconds.
Right,
it looks like he is able to hold that P3.
Nino Romanello going into the last corner for his first IRL F2 victory. He's shown pace for periods over this season. He struggled a lot with consistency, but today he was really the fastest driver on track.
Yeah, a well-deserved race winner right here.
Marcel not getting quality together, but
and Storm has lost the back end on the entry on the long straight. Now the question is, can the McLaren get past again? He tries to go around the outside. It's the last lap of this race. I don't know how it looks with those penalties.
I have no idea, but
and the McLaren holds the outside contact, but he gets past again and he gets P6.
And
he actually is ahead, and it's a crash, and Storm has crashed. He's lost the back end on the outside curb. He did the same thing as Tim did earlier on in this race, and it's gone horribly wrong
no.
for Storm in this race. He won't get any points at that will hand, and that's ironic. He not only loses P6 to his to the McLaren, he will
lose
as well
P8 to
hand
Luke there.
another McLaren P10, but no, look at Convicts, he's out of fuel. He's going to lose P10, and he will
that's a funny
finish.
Image for you.
He will actually finish P10.
Will Charlie catch him before the finish line?
And he
Charlie.
crashes out, and he gets past. Oh my God! What a chaotic end to this race.
What a finish! Storm
complains about Taki's internet in the chat.
Oh yeah, I can't see anything about.
But there you have your well-deserved race winner, Nino. He's dominated the whole race.
This has been his race, and his
weekend.
What dominance he showed today. And Marcel, though, starting down in 6th on the medium tires, he was able to keep himself there, and he did a brilliant race too. And top 10 rundown for you guys will come then. Nino Romanello with his first IRL F2 win ahead of Marcel Holler in 2nd, then Jared Fosbury in 3rd, Paco Sars in 4th, not his best race, James Sands in 5th, Joe Hollis in 6th, Christos Palamedes in 7th, Luke Baker in 8th, with his Ferrari teammate who ran out of fuel in 9th, Chris Ryan, and Charlie Sampson in 10th to round up top 10. An interesting note for you, Charlie passed Chris Ryan, but he had 1 3-second time penalty.
And that's 1/10 between the two of them in the end. But very, very disappointing for Storm in the end. He had his DRS stuck open, and then a crash on the last lap, which just pushed him out of the points. But it's actually interesting to see how much time Jared was able to gain in those last few laps, as he actually got past his teammate. And Paco, I think in the end he was 4.5 seconds.
I'm sorry, Felix, but right now I'm gonna invite the podium to start with, and then I think you will be cut off on the stream. So, shall we see? Marcel, Nino. Oh. Definitely not. Oh yeah, definitely. He would have wanted a much better finish than that. But that's how it goes sometimes. So, gotten a few invites out. Hopefully we'll get the podium first. And what a race that was in the end. All that battling, and there we have James Sands. We will start with Romanello as I see that he has joined, and Nino.
Hello.
First of all, your mic is on share, I hope.
Yes it is.
Good. So Nino, first IRL F2 victory, and it came in 11. And well, to be fair, you were just dominant today. Quali was spot on. Race, it didn't look like you did any mistake at all.
I do like the track, obviously. I think I'm pretty good at it, obviously, but I was a bit worried because considering Marcel was on the mediums and then on the softs to the end, so I was trying to push, and then obviously I got the race win, and quali enough to get pole. I think Paco is only 2/10 off, so that's, yeah, really happy with the race win.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, I'm telling you that, as I said, just looked like you did no mistakes, and we did think Marcel was gonna get a lot of that time back in the last laps, but you just seemed to have an answered, and in the end you pulled out the gap on the last lap. Was you saving before
Yeah.
that, or?
A little bit on the second to last lap. I was saving because I did want the triple. I wanted to pull the race win and the fastest lap, but no, it wasn't to be. I did go faster on my personal best, but eh, it's
Well, I imagine you screamed quite loud after you won that race.
well, I was going to, but you know, maybe later.
Well, one thing's for sure, this second part of the season is turning out a lot better than the first part. With your first podium, I think was in Italy,
Italy, yeah.
and then last week you did not have the race you wanted with you and Tim
No.
coming together. But this race again,
Yeah.
you show that you might not be in the fight for the championship, as that train has might went for
Yeah.
you, but
No. Yeah.
definitely some more victories in the last part of the season is your aim, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So
Hope to get around.
with that,
Yeah.
if you look at the last part of the season, is there any tracks you think you will go for a win on, that you think you will be able to?
Ooh, Azerbaijan maybe.
All right, so street track.
Yeah. I do like Azerbaijan. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I think we'll just have to see what everyone's like around each track. Yeah.
All right, well, next track is Russia. That a good track.
Russia. Ooh. Yeah. Don't really like the track, but you know, we'll have to go with it.
Well, I think you will be up there. Congratulations on your first win this season, Nino. Hopefully we'll
Thank
see
you.
one or two more, maybe more
Okay.
than that. And
Yeah.
good luck for Russia.
Okay. Thank you, Sondre. Thanks.
So that was Nino for you guys, and we do not have Marcel here. We do, however, have third place, which would be Jared and Felix.
Yeah, Jared, it looked like you were struggling to get past your teammate. You had a very long battle, was very exciting to watch, but it was always kind of the same story, trying to get past on the main straight, or rather say Paco let you through before the long straight and then got past you because he got the DRS. But you were struggling to get past, but as you got past, you actually gained, I think, 4.5 seconds within a few laps. Did you save your tires for that long, or did you just push and went for it as you got past him?
Well, the tyres were a bit worn out after we were battling that long. I've got to say that's probably one of the best battles I've seen this whole season from him. But no, it was, me and him were fighting for the championship, and we weren't going to catch for second in the end. Marcel just had us. The sandwich idea, as Sondre said in the stream, didn't work to perfection, but at the end of the day, I didn't feel I was that fast. On the lap 27, I only pulled like a second, and then by lap 28, the final lap, I pulled out like 3 seconds or 2 seconds or whatever it was. And I was like, oh yes, because I got a stupid penalty.
Yeah, I saw that in the stream.
I'd like on my POV, it looked like I didn't go over, but I'm not going to argue. I still got third. But I did say at the start of the season that Canada, Renault's are going to be close, and I think another round, I said the battle in between me and Paco are going to be a lot more, close, like what it has been today. So yeah, I can't argue that. Nino deserves the win today. He's finally got a win, another person to win a race. even though Sondre thinks he's out of the championship, I think he's still got it. Say he wins every race, he still could be champion. So he's now a threat to me, technically. Feel sorry for Storm for losing on the last lap, and no, Marcel, Nino, and Paco have done really well today and showed me the challenges I've got to try and win this title.
Yeah, you really put on a great show, and you could see the respect you had for each other. In that, yeah, I don't know how many laps it was. I think at least it was 5 laps long. It was all hard but fair, and that was exactly the racing we wanted to see, and I hope we will see more of that.
Oh yeah, well me and Paco are best mates anyway. We get on, we don't argue or anything. Work as a team basically best as we can, and then if we want to have a battle, we'll have a battle. Unfortunately, I lost the battle last time against him at Hungary, but this time I won at China against him, so I've got to feel a bit proud, even though he's still quicker than me. But no, we've got a lot of respect for each other. Wheel to wheel was nice and clean and everything. I did have a bit of contact with him in the hairpin, but I let him back through because I wasn't going to get third place like that. I'm not like that kind of person, so I let him back through and then just battled on from there.
Sondre?
Well, don't think I have anything to add.
Well, you shouldn't add anything. You should go over to Paco. That's what I meant.
I'm just trying to think. Well, Russia, Jared, good or bad track
Yes.
for you?
Well, it's a stupid track with the penalties, I'll tell you that. But
Track limits, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I'm aiming for second or third. I would like the
All
win,
right.
but with Paco there, I think he's gonna do very well. I know he's quicker than me at Russia.
All
We'll
right,
just see what
so
happens.
podium position then. Well,
Yeah.
then congratulations on your third place, and good
Yep,
luck for
brilliant.
Russia. Nino and Jared, I will need you both to leave the party now. If not, I can't continue these interviews. And shall we see if we can get Marcel in then? And I saw... and there with Felix. Well, while we're waiting on Marcel, we might as well get on with the fourth place then, and that would be you, Paco Suarez.
Alright.
So, Paco, not your best race, but you did end up with fourth place. And first question I have for you is tires. How bad were they on the last lap?
I ended on 90%.
Oh yeah, so
you
you
can
were in
imagine.
puncture territory then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I think Callum punctured a few laps before that with his tires on 21 laps. So you were obviously in that battle with Jared for a long time. You were also in the battle with Jared and Storm. You were also battling with Marcelo. If you could just take us through some of these battles and yeah.
Yeah, okay. I started the race with a good pace, you know. I was on 2 seconds about Nino, and I was reducing the gap, but suddenly my teammate tried an overtaking, you know, we lost time, and then Storm also tried the overtaking and he succeeded. And then in the 3 laps later, I was going to try the overtake back because he was trying the overtake on my teammate. But just when he was on the braking zone, he changed a direction and I couldn't do anything to avoid him. I didn't expect that. So my front wing was yellow, yellow to orange, and in the next lap I lost a lot of time, so I went into pits and suddenly, and I was surprised because when Adrian did his stop, I was really close. He had a battle with Yarvad. I tried to overtake. I don't know why he stopped after 4 or 5 laps. I still don't have an idea. Yeah, after that, Yarvad and me had a great battle. Marcel passed us both because he was with soft tires, and I should have maybe let my teammate pass. But you know, when you are so close in the championship and you know that every
Yeah.
point is really worthy, I knew that I had to defend that, and that made me lose a lot of wear. And in the last laps, I was suffering a lot, and I just decided to let him pass because if not, we would have probably crashed.
Yeah, or you would have probably gotten a puncture. But when it comes to oh, I had a question, but you know how my memory is. Not something to brag about. Um, yeah, when it comes to you and Jared in the championship right now, you pretty much wrapped up the constructor already. You are far away. You're the team with the two drivers who's consistently performing to get within the top five. And does that make you guys battle a little bit more and not thinking that much about the constructor, or?
The thing is that I think that compared to the rest of the grid, we have taken really serious the thing of the constructors, you know, and since the start of the season, we have been cooperating, you know, in Canada,
Yeah.
trying to block Thomas to help him, and during the next races, that we have a great gap, and but since 2 races ago. I think we are having more battles, you know, because we know that we have uh, probably that first place secure, and we have just more confident on battling. So yeah, from from here to the end of the season, you will see more battling with between us.
Oh, well, that is great to hear. Russia, good or bad track?
Well, can I name another leagues here or not?
You could
Uh,
mention it, yeah.
I have good memories from PSL. I made
Oh,
my
obviously.
I had I made a great race there, and I think that I can do really good here. It's going to be difficult because Nino is getting in a good form. You know, Gerard is always there. Then we got Marcel and Storm that if they don't commit any mistake, they are always fighting. So it's gonna be actually beautiful. We will have to respect also the track limits. But yeah, that's it.
Well, obviously, I remember that race because, as you remember, I had a great race there too. Not quali, but race. And I remember you had pace there, so you're probably
Yeah.
gonna be up there for next week. But you do mention Nino, yeah, and he is on form. So, guess we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, congratulations on your fourth place today, and
Thank you.
good luck for Russia.
I Thank you. Before finishing, I would like to say sorry to Yo because at the start of the race we had a small
Oh yeah.
incident. You know, it wasn't obviously on purpose. And also, congrat James for his race.
Well, that's great sportsmanship for you there. And then we will be going on to. It doesn't look like Marcel is coming in for interviews, so then that means that our next driver for interview would be James. I guess, yeah. So, James,
Yes.
I didn't catch you much on the stream there, but you did end up in fifth place in the end, and yeah, if you could just take us through what your race was like.
Hectic. Like, it was just constantly fighting against the car to turn in turn one. it was just constant battling, and then trying to catch Paco was just so difficult. I was wearing down my mediums at the end because I was just doing semi spins from pushing too hard to try and get away from Lux and Storm as well. But yeah, it was an entertaining race. Stayed a bit quiet on my end though, apart from the first lap. But yeah,
Well, you know, sometimes the race you want is a quiet race. Can you end up with a lot more points than you expect by staying out of battles and that kind of stuff. And you ended up fifth place in the end. And um, there my memory went again. Um, well, I don't. That is one of your best finishes this season, I think. I think you've been on the podium
yeah,
once.
yeah. England, Britain.
Yeah, for the Britain Grand Prix. So I guess you're trying to stay up there, and do you feel like you have the pace to keep up with the front runners, or do you feel like you have to make your strategy work for you too?
It's a combination of both, really. Top five, possibly. Podium, I don't think I'm anywhere near unless they all crash out. But it's mainly about strategy because, especially when you have to pit or it's a one stop, you only get one opportunity and then you lose a certain amount of places, and then you've got to try and get that back up and gain some more to get more points.
Mm. Yeah, you definitely do have a good point there. There is a lot of one stops. I don't think there's almost. I think almost every track is one stop nowadays, and you do really ruin your race if you don't do that. And but then for Russia next week, is that a good track for you? And what do you expect from it?
Um, I did alright in PSGL when I raced there. Crashed out with like 8 laps to go, but that was in intermediate conditions. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good race if I can just stay out of trouble and not get any penalties.
All right, great stuff. Well, congratulations on your fifth place today. Great race by you, and good
Cheers.
luck for the next race.
Cheers. Take care.
Thank you. Well, then we will be jumping over to the next driver, and that should be Joe, I think. Yeah, so Joe, we did hear it from Paco. You were battling on the first lap there, and what really happened in that second corner? Because I do think I glimpsed it, but it looked like you went wide a little on the grass.
No, I will keep it. So we're side by side through turn one, and then I tried going for the switchback. I tried going for the switchback, and then just Storm came in, so I got so I had to back off, otherwise we would all hit each other. And then I got a better exit than Paco at the second corner, and he forced me off. I was off the track completely, no tires on it, no wheels. And then my car just spun because I hit the gravel.
Yeah, I did see you spin there. It was unfortunate. I think we all expected you to be up there today. But in the end, it turned out to be a recovery drive for you then. And I believe you recovered to sixth place in the end then.
Yeah.
And, well, you were actually battling against Storm for the final few laps there. Take us through that.
Yeah, so he was gaining on me. I was struggling a tiny bit, and so as soon as he got caught up to me, I was I checked his penalties. I knew how many penalties he had, so I was just gonna defend as much as possible. And one lap he was in the middle of the track under braking, and then moved to the right even more and more, and I was there. And then under braking, he shut the door when I was still there, so I had to cut the corner. I didn't get a penalty, but I still got a warning from that, I think. So that I kind of got pissed, so at the hairpin, I went for a dive bomb, made the move stick. I think you saw that.
Yeah, I did catch that. It looked like you were going a bit late, but you managed to get your car slowed down for the corner, so it was a good dive there. And from there, was that Last lap?
I mean, no, that was the second last lap. The last lap. So I was ahead on the last lap. So I put my ERS down into none because I knew I either had to defend on the straight or let him pass before the DRS zone, DRS detection. So coming out well, you know the straight where you go into sector 3.
Yeah.
I let him pass there, so I could so I would have the DRS on the straight. He went defensive down into the hairpin. I went round the outside. I was going to carry as much speed as possible around the outside. I seem to have done it. And I got past him. Ran the final corner. Took P6. I started laughing because he lost the back end and retired.
Yeah, it was like a little the last corner, and I've been there. I done that myself. It's a horrible feeling when you do that, especially when you're battling for a position and then it's the last corner.
It was good for me. Well, it was good for McLaren there because my teammate was in P11. And he was going to get a point there, and then Convict's Popeye ran out of fuel. Or was it Luke? One of them.
Yeah, that was Chris. He ran out of fuel right after a hairpin, I think. Charlie passed him, but had a penalty, so he got behind him on a 10th or something, I think.
Problem is with Charlie, every race he always gets hit by convicts. Every race. Been hit again today.
Well, I don't know about that. I haven't seen that, but that's unfortunate at least if that happens. But for the second part of the season, you are slipping a little away, and today you're losing a few more points to Paco. Not that many points today, though, but for the championship, do you think you still can? Do you think you can still end up on the top step, or do you think it's kind of shifted to second?
I think I can only contest for the third step. So I'm like the first part of the season, it was going well for us McLarens. But second part so far, not going well. I need to step up my game again. There's a lot of quick drivers now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And well, as you mentioned it, Marcel is actually catching up for that third step, so...
Yeah, I'm going to step up my game a bit more. Today I knew I could have contested for that podium, but then, obviously, that incident happened.
Yeah, well... I said it on the stream, I know neither one of you or Storm would be happy with that 6th place, and pretty sure you aren't happy with it.
I mean, I'm fine with it since I recovered a bit, but, like, still, I know. I have the feeling that I have the very good chance of getting the podium.
Well, Russia then. Is that a good chance for you, or...?
I mean, I haven't really raced much on there. I don't know what my pace is either, so...
Guess we'll see then.
So I don't really know.
Well... Good stuff. Congratulations on your 6th place as you recovered today. And good luck for Russia.
Okay, thank you.
And we're closing in on the end of the interviews. We will have Chris Ryan as the next one. And Chris.
Yes, sir.
So, first of all, I got to ask, did you know that you were running out of fuel?
Right at the end, I have a little four-legged feline that likes to get up on my wheel. And he happened to hit the button because I was running in lean almost that whole last lap. He hit my button and put it into the standard, so it kept going and going. I was right at the brink on the last lap. I had like 0.03, when I was running lean. And he hit the button and I went into negative 0.10, and yeah, kind of stupid cat. But first off, I want to say sorry to Charlie, man. I did not mean to hit him in that turn. I hit my braking zone and I was barely tapping him, and I don't know if I caused him to spin, but I mean, I broke. I stopped completely. I didn't, hit the gas or go to try to run through him, so I want to apologize for that. If I had anything to do with him having a bad race, I'm sorry about that, but
Well, I mean, things like that does happen. It's racing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but the cars doesn't just go through each other. They do actually hit.
No.
But
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hit my brake and when I got him, I barely tapped into him, and it was like he was hitting more of his brake or something was happening, and I was barely pushing him, you know. But not real bad. I didn't like put him across the track, so.
Yeah, well, quali then.
Yeah.
Was that a mistake when you started on the ultras, or did you actually try to go for them?
No.
Oh.
I wanted to go on the mediums to where I was on everybody else's page, but then I have a problem remembering about my tires whenever I turn whenever I go to quali. You know, I go right to my setup, and then I don't remember about my tires, and I go right out on the track, and yeah.
You just didn't realize it then.
Until I looked up after I did my lap, and I was like, well, that's a pretty fast lap for ultra sauce. So.
Oh yeah, well that's a big slip up then. Well.
Yeah, because then I went in and I put mediums on just to see how I'd run, you know, and then it didn't give me my choice in my pit strategy for mediums. So, and then.
Well, you did end up with. Well, I think you actually, you got the right ahead of Charlie on penalty, so you did end up with top 2 points, and from what I can remember, points is what you're aiming at, so job done then.
And finishing, so I did both of that today, except, you know, I ran out of gas at the finish line.
Well, you gave us commentators something to laugh of. Not every day we see that. Although I actually managed to do that myself before too, but then
I at least finished. So, yeah.
At least you finished, yeah. So Russia next week then.
I feel pretty good about that track. I was racing it online last night, and I mean I was doing pretty good, you know, getting the corners down and everything. So I think me having a couple hours practice on it, you know, maybe trying to do a regular race and not a time trial might help it too. So
that is usually an advantage to do that. For tonight though, I know that the IRL GTS League is driving as usual. Is it the last race of the season?
It is. It's the season finale today.
It's the season finale, and that would start at 7:30.
It starts 11:30. Actually, it starts 2:30 Eastern time, 7:30 GMT. So, yeah.
All right. So,
actually,
for everyone who wants to catch up on some IRL GTS action, then I guess that Kamikaze will be streaming the race as usual.
Yes, he will be streaming on his channel. So everybody come watch it. You know?
So to everyone who wants to watch that, you should tune in on Kamikaze's Fox channel at 7:30 GMT.
Yep.
And good luck to you for that, Chris, and congratulations on your points today, and good luck for next week in F2.
Thank you. I also want to say just quickly, Callum, man, you know, it was a great racing with you, man. I'm sorry if I, you know, gave you too much of a bump right there, but I had to get around you. But great racing with you, man. So.
And as everyone might have guessed, then Callum Anderson will be our last driver to be interviewed. And Callum, there you are.
Yeah.
So, first of all, when you retired, did you get a puncture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
My wheel left. I wasn't expecting it because it was only on 82%. I thought they were going to go another lap, but you know, they didn't.
Yeah, you know, I've been there. I think most people have been there trying to get those tires just that one lap further. But yeah, that's that obviously then ending in you retiring, and yeah, not the race you wanted, I guess.
No, I got damage lap 1 by convicts. It's Chris, I think.
Yeah, that's Chris.
He gave me wing damage. Lap 1, he gave me I went wing, so I had to pit. I held it out low, so I tried going on mediums to end. Didn't work.
Yeah, I did
And
see that.
you know, I don't know why I did it to be. I should have done it ultras on like 25 or something. Oh, and then I forgot now. Oh yeah, Tim, stupid. I was sort of on straight. He pulled in for slipstream and he took me out. And on the corner, he went for a stupid dive and forcing me wide, and yeah.
Well, that's not good to hear. I didn't see that, so can't really comment on it. All I can say is just, you know what you have to do if you want to report anything.
Yeah.
And kind of forgot what I was going to answer to. Yeah, you haven't been really on your best form lately. Any reasons for that, or?
I don't know. It's just PSGL haven't really gone well, and IRL just. I don't even know what's happened with me, and yeah.
Well, I do know how you feel. I've
It's been
been in
bad
those
tracks,
slumps
really.
myself too.
Yeah, I haven't raced Italy ever. What track was after Italy? I don't know.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I got a puncture that lap as well. That race. And then it's just been bad tracks for me really, and Russia's alright track for me.
Alright, so next track then, Russia.
Yeah.
What do you hope to do there?
I want some points, mainly. I want some points and I want to finish the race.
Well, that should be possible.
Should be, to get the strategy right.
Gotta be, maybe don't stretch the tires that far then.
No, I will not.
But those things happen. Sometimes you just gotta go for a ballsy decision and just run the tires too long. Sometimes it pays out, sometimes it doesn't. But no points today though.
Yeah. No.
But no points today. Not your best race, but hopefully you'll get it together soon.
I hope so.
And yes, sorry about your teammate. I did notice that the message, but it was halfway in the race, so it was too late to restart them. Yeah, I don't always notice those kind of messages.
Yeah, it's right.
But yeah, it's a shame for him. I did at some point realize where was Billy, but yeah, it's not the best way for your team this race then, but you'll get back there for the next race.
Yeah, we'll be back on it because we're both racing PSGL and we've both practiced around there and we both know strategy, so.
Well, that's good to hear.
I think it'd be a good track for us.
Well, then I'm just gonna say good luck for the next race, and I'll see you then.
Thanks, see you. See you.
You're welcome. So, that should have been our last interview for the day, and yeah, I don't know what to say. Well, it's been a great race, a lot of overtaking, especially between the Renaults, and dominant victory for Nino. He's really turning his season around now. And as me and Chris discussed, you can see IRL GTS on Kamikaze Fox's channel at 7:30 GMT. For F1, if you want to see IRL F1 tomorrow, it will start at 4:15, also commentated by Kamikaze Fox. Jack Hoyle in the league leader at the moment. He's kind of starting to look like he's running away with it. Next week, IRL F2 will be on as usual at 4:30 GMT, and then it will be around Russia. IRL F1 will start at 4:15 on Sunday around Russia. When it comes to the GTS League, I don't know if we're doing something there next week or not, if it might be a break. And for my driver of the day selection, I would say Nino, just because it was a dominant victory. And moment of the race, I can't really remember any moments right now. I would just say the battling between the two Renaults at the end there. So that's it for today. Going to wrap the stream up then. It's been a great race. It's been IRL F2 around China, round 11. I've been your host, Sondre Sorhaug. I was joined by Felix Negwer earlier, although he had to leave. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to watch more. That would be it, and thanks for everyone who's watched.